Tonight, an unthinkable crime rips through a quiet Denver neighborhood. It's an unbelievable story. It's leaving Colorado residents wondering, was legalizing marijuana such a great idea after all? A terrified mother of three calls 911 to report her high-on-pot husband is acting very crazy, hallucinating, talking about the end of the world, asking his wife to shoot him, and then allegedly shooting her instead. All sounds like the kind of behavior you'd see from somebody on bath salts or crystal meth, not pot. So I've got to ask Howard Samuels, addiction specialist, founder and CEO of the Hills Treatment Center. That doesn't mean the suspect couldn't have gotten his hands on some tainted marijuana. And some reports are suggesting tonight he may have been high on edible marijuana. And I'm wondering, could it be that as opposed to smoking, he ate so much that he went well beyond a buzz to hallucinations?
Well, you know what, Jane? That's exactly my thought also. This is the second violent death in Colorado in the last month due to ingesting marijuana. The other one was a college student, 19 years old, who jumped out of a window after eating a marijuana cookie, okay? So, you know, marijuana edibles create hallucinations, anxiety attack.
But what is it? What is it? Do you get more?
Do
you get more from eating a cookie, or as they used to say back in the day, a hash brownie, than you would from smoking? Is it something where you can really ingest huge quantities more than you could smoke?
Well, absolutely. I mean, just think, if you can get high on one marijuana edible, what about if you have 10 cookies? That's 10 times as potent. You know, it's not the same with smoking it. So, you know, you're setting yourself up for some really horrible results because of what you're really eating. And this is what Colorado really has to look at. I mean, by making this drug legal, which I am totally against, is just horrific.
I think that perhaps they should look at the edible marijuana as the biggest threat. And that's something that we got to consider, Howard Samuels.
Well, Jane, 40% of all marijuana sales in Colorado are marijuana edibles, okay?
Wow.
So they better take a look at this issue quickly before we have more deaths.
Yeah, 40%.
But
so you're saying almost half of all the people who are buying pot in Colorado are buying it in an edible form, where if they just sit down and binge thinking it's not that dangerous, it's just a cookie, they could end up eating basically they could end up ODing. Can you OD on
this
pot?
This is where
No,
people
you
don't
can't.
have enough information about this drug, Jane. And this is the real problem, is that, you know, by legalizing this drug and mass producing this drug, by legalizing it, you're mass producing it, you're going to promote it, it is going to become much more widespread to our nation's kids, and that's the crime to me.
Well, Richard Kirk, the suspect, was arrested in 1994 for assault, but the charges were dismissed. He did get a DUI in 2000, but that's about it. I mean, he doesn't have a long, violent criminal history to speak of. So you got to wonder, Howard Samuels, can pot in huge quantities take somebody from being a very passive and nonviolent good dad, 3 sons, a beautiful wife, and turn him into a monster like that?
Well, not usually. I mean, but you have to understand something. The marijuana today, especially in an edible form, is very potent. Now, everybody has a different chemical makeup. We're all different chemically in our bodies. And, you know, these types of drugs will cause a chain reaction very differently. And that's why you're taking a risk when you start to do drugs. I mean, whether it's marijuana, whether it's cocaine, no matter what it is, you're risking your behavior and the life of others around you. So
and I want to make it clear, we are ruining our nation with drugs and alcohol. But I don't know if criminalizing it is the answer. All you do is create a nation of criminals.